All right, the time is now 5 o'clock. I call this meeting of the Granbury Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The board will now adjourn into executive session pursuant to the following sections. 551.071, private consultation with board attorney. 551.074, discussion of officers, employees, and personnel matters. 551.076, considering the deployment, specific occasions for, or implementation of security personnel or devices. The time is now 5:01. Evening. It is 6 o'clock, and we are now convened into open session, and we will begin with a moment of silence and invocation by Mrs. Nancy Alana.
Please pray with me. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you so much for this beautiful day and for this season that you've given to us. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight to make decisions concerning the students in our community. Lord, help us to make wise decisions. Help us, dear Lord, to be there for our students when they need us. And Lord, I just pray that each and every one of us will be a shining example to them as they go forward. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Nancy. And at this time, for the pledges, they will be presented by Bronner Elementary School students.
Okay, I know you guys are already standing, but before we get started, I wanted to say some words of appreciation for the many people that helped us on Friday. Okay, so Dr. Glenn and School Board. Bronner would like to show our appreciation to everyone that made a challenge event on Friday, one to be remembered by our students and our staff. As you all know, Bronner had a gas leak incident on Friday, and our GISD family came together with unwavering support. And there are several individuals and teams that deserve our heartfelt thanks. First, to Jamie Robinson, there he is. And the dedicated staff at GHS for their remarkable hospitality and willingness to leap into action at a moment's notice. Their quick response ensured the safety and well-being of our students and our staff. A special thank you also goes out to Brian Carruthers and the transportation team for having buses readily available. Your preparedness played a crucial role in keeping our students out of harm's way. Our gratitude extends to the district administration, Dr. Glenn, Jimmy, and Tammy, and Stacy and Carla, who demonstrated extraordinary commitment by staying with us throughout the entire day. Your presence was a source of comfort and reassurance. A big round of applause goes to the GHS coaches and basketball teams who kept our students entertained with games and activities. Our students were so excited to get autographs from the Pirate basketball team. To Wade Clark and his security team, thank you for your dedication to always keeping our students safe. A special thank you to Jessica Work and the Bronner PTO for volunteering and providing pizza for our staff upon their return. To Ryan Cox, the communications director, who played a crucial role in keeping our families informed throughout the day. A heartfelt thank you also goes out to Bronner and the GHS food service teams for ensuring that our kids were not only fed breakfast but also lunch that day. To Brian Johnson and his custodial team, your dedication to keeping the stands clean with the abundance of trash that we had helped bring a sense of normalcy to an otherwise very challenging day. We are more than just a school district. We are a family that stands together in times of need. Thank you to each and every person who played a role in making a difference on Friday. Together, we are stronger. Also to our school board, happy School Board Appreciation Month. We appreciate all that you do for our students and our staff to make GISD truly the best school district. At this time, I will now pass the mic to our student council officers.
Hi, I'm Bronner Student Council President. Hannah, and my favorite thing about Bronner is the friendly students and teachers. And now for Jack Kaufman, the Vice President. My favorite thing about Bronner is Football Friday because we are the only school that get to have it, and we can see all the football players.
Hi, my name is Edwin, and my favorite thing about Bronner is the staff members that work there because they're really kind and nice.
Hello, my name is Lucas, and my favorite thing about Bronner is how the teachers treat us respectfully and kindly.
Thank you to our school board for letting us be here today. And now for the pledges of allegiance. I allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now for our Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Will you please remain standing for a moment of silence? Thank you. Now you may be seated.
While they're getting their pictures taken, do we have the parents of these outstanding students here? If you would stand up so we can recognize you. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the Achievement Spotlight. And the first one, Renee Jackson, is here to talk about the Granbury ISD Spelling Bee Champion and the campus winners.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Townsend, Dr. Glenn, and all of the Granbury ISD Board of Trustees. My name is Renee Jackson. I am one of your Granbury ISD curriculum coordinators. I also have the privilege of coordinating the Area 18 and Granbury ISD Spelling Bees, and it is my honor to present you with our 2024 competition winners tonight. Our area winner will advance to the TCU Regional Spelling Bee on March 5th, and that Regional Bee winner will advance to the 2024 Scripps National Spelling Bee in National Harbor, Maryland, to be held at the end of May. Students, when I call your name, please join me at the front. Trustees and Dr. Glenn, please congratulate the following spelling bee winners. First, we have Aubrey Walker, the campus winner for Acton Elementary School. Just come stand right there. Ryan Crawford, the campus winner for the STEAM Academy at Membrano. Kate Daniels, the campus winner for Oakwood School. Hunter Yates, the campus winner for Granbury Middle School. I'm not sure they're all here. I don't think they could all make it. Yeah. Jade Tribble, the campus winner for Bacchus Elementary School. Caden Williamson, the campus winner for Bronner Elementary School. Caden is also our district and area runner-up, and he's going to step in for our winner if he is unable to compete for any reason. And then we have Titus Cave, the campus winner for Acton Middle School. I think you made it. And Titus is also our Granbury ISD and Area 18 Spelling Bee champion for 2024, and he's going to represent our district at the TCU Spelling Bee. You may recognize Titus's name because he was also our district winner last year, and he tied for 10th place and made it further at the TCU Spelling Bee than any student we've ever had compete. So we feel really good about his chances this year. And students, if you would please make your way around the horseshoe now and meet all of our trustees, and then come back and have your picture made.
give you that. Do you have mine? Do you have my achievement spotlight?
I'll really make them get it all spelled.
I see.
Back up, take like 2 steps back. So I can get y'all in. There you go. Stand by Miss Jackson.
And do we have parents of these young people here today that we can recognize?
Ready? Smile. 1, 2, 3.
No parents? Oh, there we go. Okay, our next achiever. Oh, did you have something you wanted to say? No, I'm next. You're getting ready for the next one. Okay, go for it.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Glenn, School Board President, Ms. Townsend, and all GISD School Board trustees. This was our 3rd year to conduct the Spanish Spelling Bee for Granbury ISD. This year, we had students from Bronner Elementary that competed, and these students were tasked with studying over 1,300 words provided by the National Spanish Spelling Bee. What makes this competition more challenging is that students must spell the Spanish words that include all special marks, acentos, tilde, y diéresis, as well as letras mayúsculas, which are capital letters. A few special marks can be used interchangeably and can be spelled out either during or after the word has been spelled. As always, we look forward to watching this competition continue to grow over the coming years. The 2024 GISD Spelling Bee champion will now move on to compete at the regional level on Friday, March 22nd at the Region 11 Education Service Center. Please join me in congratulating the following Spanish Spelling Bee runner-up and champion. Our runner-up is Bronner 5th grade student, Eliana Vasquez. And our champion, moving on to regionals, is Bronner 5th grade student, Idali Velasquez. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have the parents for either of these 2 young ladies here? Yay! Okay, our next achievement spotlight is going to be presented by Ryan Thompson, and it's the Schottenkirk Senior of the Month Award.
Good evening. I'm here to announce Andrew Nickel as recipient of the Schottenkirk Senior of the Month. Andrew Nickel plans on going to college at Texas A&M and studying nuclear engineering. He chose this major believing that increased implementation of nuclear energy can help provide consistent clean energy for the U.S. and reduce the amount of coal power plants needed, which is proven to negatively impact the ecosystem. In high school, he takes part in FFA, F1 in schools, and Junior Optimist. His accomplishments in FFA include showing animals for 7 years, competing at the state level every year, and serving as a chapter officer, as well as gaining the Lone Star degree, which is the highest degree at the state level. In F1 in schools, he's the lead design engineer and will be competing nationally. Andrew's also helped establish the first GHS Chapter of Technology Student Association, which made it to the state competition the very first year. Lastly, as junior optimist, Andrew helped within the community in several projects and has more than 32 service hours. So join me in congratulating Andrew on Schottenkirk Student Senior of the Month.
Come on by and say hello. And while he's doing that, are his parents here tonight? Good job. All right, next up, the Tennis Academic All-State winners, and Jamie Robinson's going to be presenting for us.
Come on up, everybody. All right. We have the little blurb. All right, so I'm really excited. So we have a couple of students up here that have worked really hard to get recognized, and it's based on being an athlete, a student trainer, or manager in good standing with a team of good moral character. I say they're great moral character. A senior, have an overall grade point average of 92 above, and weighted GPAs are accepted, and they take into consider the class rank and SAT, ACT, the whole 9 yards. These students have done great both on the tennis court and in the classroom and in the community, so we're so proud of them. And Mr. Lozarkis could not be here tonight. He really wanted to be here. He had a nice little speech and everything, but things came up, and so we just want to tell you thank you and get some recognition for everybody. So, which, you want to tell me your name? Caden. Okay, so go ahead and introduce. Okay, so this is Caden, and tell us, to what do you play doubles? Do you?
I play singles.
Play singles. Okay, and what about you?
I'm Katie Childs and I play doubles.
Okay, well, congratulations to both of you. So let's give them a round of applause. All your certificates, okay? I do apologize. So.
And once again, I think we have at least one parent taking a picture. All right, and the last one I have on my list, can we please have head volleyball coach Desiree Shahan?
Shahan, yes.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, you guys. Thank you so much for having us and letting us honor our kids. Y'all can scoot, come on up here. I told them I was going to make them introduce themselves, and they all looked at me like I was nuts. But before we talk about these awards, just real quick, I want to talk about how awesome of a volleyball season we had this year. We finished strong in our district, beating Northwest, which was probably the best game and will always go down in my top 5 forever, and I'm sure it'll be in their memories forever also. But we ended district in 3rd, which led us to play Arlington Heights the first round, where we beat them 3-0. And then in the area game, we played a very strong Argyle team who made it to the regional championship, so they were 1 game away from making it to state. So we had a lot of accomplishments this year, and so today we're here to honor a few of them. We're going to start with Allie McCabe. So Allie McCabe was on the TGCA All-State. Oh, there she is, the only one in purple. She didn't get the memo, I guess. But TGCA All-State is there's only 50 kids in 5A in the entire state of Texas that is picked. And so it's picked by a committee of different high school coaches from around the state. And so she was one of them. She also achieved a goal this year of 1,000+ assists for a career. So that was awesome. So there's Allie McCabe. And then kind of like academic all-state, I'm a part of 3 different associations. So we have TGCA TGCA is Texas Girls Association, Coaches Association. They have to have a GPA average of 94 or above from grades 9 through 11. They must be a varsity participant. So for TGCA, sorry, I'm looking at my list here. We have Maddox Owens, Kylie Moody, Brooke Marack, Lauren Franco, Peyton Johnson, and Bailey Blum. So... THSCA is the one that they also just did for tennis, so I'm not going to go over that. But it's basically the same thing, but they also take into account their class rank and their GPAs. So for that, we had Bailey Blum, Lauren Franco, Peyton Johnson, Kylie Moody, Brooke Marack, and Maddox Owens. And then the last one is the AVCA Best and Brightest. This is an award meant to honor individual high school student athlete who excel on and off the court. To be eligible for the Best and Brightest award, senior student athletes must have earned at least a 3.5 unweighted or a 4.0 weighted GPA during their junior year and play 50% of their varsity's team sets during their senior season. And on that, we have Bailey Blum, Brooke Marack, Kylie Moody, and Rachel Boyer.
Thank y'all so much.
Some of y'all, there's the mom. Come on.
Now, I take it the mamas and the papas are taking the pictures as well, so congratulations to the parents for putting up with all those hours of practice. I love Achievement Spotlight. I love seeing how the students are doing and just letting them know that the community so appreciates the achievements that they make. And from here, we will go on to the superintendent report. Dr. Glenn.
Thank you, Madam President. I think they're almost out now, but anyone that had an opportunity to watch the varsity girls volleyball, they did just a great job this year. It was one of those years where we came in a little undersized and they had to really play together as a team all year to make it work. And so I'm super proud of how they finished up. And with that, I will jump into tonight's report. First, let me talk about strategic planning. As many of you know, back in November, our our district came out with a school bond, and it failed by 2 votes. So we were much closer to addressing some of the growth issues and facility needs we had. So we came back right after the Christmas break with a strategic planning committee and took a deeper dive into what we were missing, and not just to win by 2 votes, but to be able to win overwhelmingly with something the entire community can get behind. And ultimately, the plan that was put in place will be brought back in February by Texas law. Bond has to be called before February 16th in order to be placed on the May ballot. And so ultimately what that committee decided was that we wanted to come back with essentially the same bond. So that's building a new elementary school, renovating all of our campuses at the elementary level and junior high level, as well as purchasing school buses and building a bus hub on the eastern side of town, which will help us kind of reduce our start times. See some elementary people out there. You guys know, y'all feel it every day. We start school really, really early, which means kids are standing outside to be picked up on the bus really, really early. And so if we can push that back 20 or 30 minutes, that would go a long way. And then at the high school level, those of us with high school kids, we know that it's not uncommon to walk out of that building at 5 o'clock in the evening. And so if we could get out a little earlier, that would be a welcome addition too. And so that's the main driver behind the transportation hub and the buses. But the one thing that was missing last time was a renovation of the high school. And the committee really had 2 focuses. One was to keep the tax rate at a no impact tax rate, meaning that the 93-cent tax rate that we have right now, total tax rate, would stay the same. We didn't want to increase our tax rate, but simultaneously we wanted to be able to add some renovations to the high school. And I see our high school principal, Mr. Robinson, is here. We wanted to address some of the issues as it related to GHS. And so in order to be able to do that, we were fortunate that interest rates have started to drop a little bit, and also we continue to grow. We're a growing community. Values continue to go up, and so we will present a bond that will allow the same impact as the November bond, plus additions to the high school at a net negative tax rate increase, meaning that we will not increase the tax rate at all. And so hopefully that'll be something voters can get behind. We'll definitely be pumping out the factual information on it, but that will be presented at the February meeting. Also at the February meeting, we'll present the TAPER, which is the district's academic report card. So we'll go through campus by campus, see how our campuses are rated, what campuses are performing well academically, what areas we need to improve upon, and then we'll look at a variety of other indicators that are required by the state. A couple of other things just to make you aware of. Here in a minute, Mr. Robinson is going to talk about our GPA program and some changes that we're requesting as it relates to our high school GPA, which probably since I've gotten here has been a point of contention with many parents. Tonight we'll have the opportunity to resolve that. Another issue that's going to have to be resolved in the coming months is growth in the district. And I'm not talking about long-term growth. A bond would address long-term growth, but it's going to take 3 years to build an elementary school. And many of our schools will not be able to go 3 years without having something done. And so at AES, we've added portables. At Bronner, we've added portables. At Oakwoods, we've added portables. And so now we're talking about what else can we do. We don't really like the idea of adding portables because they're not the safest option for kids. So we've increased class sizes inside buildings, but now we're looking at having to shift kids. And as the Bronner zone grows, it's becoming more and more likely that we're going to have to shift some of our kids to another campus. And currently, the only campus that has any room, and it's not a lot of room, but they do have space, is Oakwood. So what you're going to see is, Bacchus. is Bacchus. If Chelsea Gibson were here, she would be saying, no, we don't have any room. But it's Bacchus has a little room, and so Stacy Brown in our curriculum department are working with both Bronner and Bacchus on a plan that would allow some students to move over there to relieve classroom space at Bronner. And then finally, we had several sports recognitions, but I'll let everybody know that our new head football coach, Bobby Allison, has hit the ground running. In fact, he has two assistants that'll be in the personnel report tonight, and we're proud of the job that he has done coming in after the break, working with our football players and getting acclimated with Mr. Robinson and the high school staff. More importantly than that is our basketball teams, both Coach Thorpe on the girls' side and Coach Brazil on the boys' side, look like they're going to make the playoffs. And track and tennis and golf and swim are all underway. Swim just advanced this past weekend, and so they're really poised. I mean, we have kids breaking records on the swim team, so it's an exciting time, not just academically and from a fine arts standpoint, but athletically, kids continue to perform well too. Two other important topics. One is, for those of you who are interested, there will be an intergovernmental meeting on Wednesday. That'll be at 10:30 at City Hall, and that'll involve the Granbury ISD, Granbury City Council, the county commissioners, and possibly the Crescent mayor. Typically, she comes as well. And we're going to be talking about expansion on Old Granbury Road, which is important to GISD because potentially we could have an elementary school there eventually. And then also the expansion of 377, which we all know the traffic footprint that GISD has when schools are open. And so anytime we're talking about major construction on 377, our district will obviously want to be involved in those conversations. And finally, it's Board Appreciation Month, and so trustees, you have before you a book. Some of you were able to get your requests in of a book you wanted placed in a library. I believe this year the book placement will be at AES, so feel free to make an inscription in your book if you would like, and we'll make sure Ms. Walton gets those placed on her campus. And then also want to thank all of our principals and their staff for putting together the banners. I think it goes without saying, but we do appreciate the job you do as trustees so much, and it is a thankless job sometimes, but you are valued by this district. Madam President, that's a report for this month.
Thank you, Dr. Glenn. And as far as the posters are concerned, I came in early and spent about a half an hour adding them all. Thank you. They're just really beautiful and they're wonderful, and I love when the students have something to do with them. They really touched my heart, and I'm sure that the others feel the same way. So thank you from the bottom of our heart, because we do it for the kids. All right, now we would go into public comment. There were no agenda public comments, but I did want to make a statement. We did have some people that did turn in requests for public comment, but they were for non-agenda items. So I want to read to you exactly how we're handling non-agenda items so that you are aware of what you have the opportunity to do if you choose. Since the board cannot deliberate on any subject that is not included on the agenda, the board has scheduled quarterly special meetings to hear non-agenda items. The venue will allow the board to have open discourse with the public and work to resolve issues through the many programs and experts that are within our district. An example of a non-agenda item is a gentleman who several months ago spoke during open comments about a broken AC on his daughter's bus. Since it was not an agenda item, we could not discuss the problem with him. All we could do was listen silently. In this new venue, we could discuss that buses have been ordered, but the delivery is slow, and that we work to keep buses running, but it is difficult given the miles they run per day. Also, we could direct him to whom to contact to directly help in his situation. Our first quarterly special meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 26th at 5 p.m. here in the Granbury ISD building. So you will have the opportunity for non-agenda items to sign up before that, just as you would for the agenda items. So I wanted to make sure that that was clear to everybody who is interested, those who are here and those who are listening to us or will listen to us in the future.
And I'll just add to that, Madam President, because I see a few kids and parents back here. This should be a relatively short meeting tonight. In fact, there's some really good information as it relates to the high school GPA, which will affect junior high kids. If you can hang out, I will visit with you as soon as this meeting is over. So if you want to just talk, hang out just a few minutes, and hopefully we'll wrap up pretty quick tonight.
Okay. With that, we're going to move on to the action on items discussed in closed session. Do I have a motion?
Madam President, so moved.
Do I have a second?
And I'll second.
Okay, the motion is made by Ms. Gore. It is seconded by Mr. Moore. All those in favor? Oh,
Just a quick note before you guys adopt the personnel report. Dustin Kahn is with us tonight.
Oh, okay.
He is the recommendation to be the new assistant principal at Granbury High School to fill a role that's been vacated for some time now. So Dustin, congratulations. Dustin has experience at Burleson, Cleburne, and most recently Godley, and we're glad to have him as part of the Pirate team.
well, let's vote on it. So all those in favor of the closed session recommendations, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda items. Are there any items that need to be pulled out for any reason?
Oh, Madam President.
I was waiting.
I just would like to take a minute to recognize all the donations on the budget amendment item.
Go right ahead, Ms. Gore, as soon as you find it.
As soon as I get there.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Glenn.
Page 52.
So I would like to thank, these are donations from our community members, and we have quite a few. So I would just like to thank the donation from Lewis and Rhapsody to the extended day program to supplement tuition for families in need in the amount of $1,000. Donations from the GMS PTO to the GMS campus for teacher appreciation, their water and ice machine in the amount of $7,000. Yes. A donation from Blake and Amber Campbell, Matthew and Laura Ballou, with 104 Cattle Company to the FFA Student Activity Fund to support the range team and the livestock team in the total amount of $750. Donations from Dana Malone, Canine Fitness Camp, to the FFA Student Activity Fund to support all the teams in the amount of $2,500. Donations from Susan Johnson to the MCJROTC Student Activity Fund to support the cadets. Donations from John and Valerie Tabor to the MCJROTC Fund to support the cadets in the amount of $816. Donations from CDR Richard Miskinsky to the MCJROTC Student Activity Fund to support the cadets in the amount of $1,000. Donations from Spencer Donnelly to the robotics team at GHS in the amount of $500. Donations from Mike and Shelley Connor to the GHS Auto Mechanics Campus Activity Fund in the amount of $200. Donations to the Granbury Optimist Club from Junior Optimist Student Activity Fund to stock the GHS Athletic Freezer, and to the GHS Band to supplement travel and snacks in the amount of $480 total. Donations from Constellation Energy to the GHS Math Department for technology expansion in the amount of $5,000. Donation from Joshua and Ashley Cogburn to the Stowaways, the student activity account, in the amount of $1,000. Donations from Ryan Hancock from First Financial to GISD HR Department to fund customer care superfan recognition in the amount of $250. From Cotton Patch to GISD HR for the customer care superfan recognition in the amount of $180. From Tammy Hickey, First Financial Bank, to HR Customer Care Superfan Recognition in the amount of $100. Granbury Opera House to HR Customer Care Superfan for $250. Spring Creek Barbecue to HR Department Customer Care Superfan in the amount of $100. Firehouse Subs to HR Department Customer Care Superfan Recognition in the amount of $50. Cheerful Hearts to the HR Department Customer Care Superfan Recognition in the amount of $400. Brightworks Car Wash for the Customer Care Superfan Recognition in the amount of $200. Michelle Lucas, First National Bank Customer Care Superfan Recognition in the amount of $100. And Braces Orthodontics Customer Care Superfan in the amount of $200, for a total donations from our community of $22,076.
I also have one I wanted to pull out, and I talked to Mr. Robinson ahead of time to let him know I was going to do this. Hey, Jamie, I just wanted, I had sent you an email talking about the fact we're going to have F1 in schools going on trip. I didn't know that we had started up F1 schools again. So could you talk on it a little bit? I mean, how many teams do we have? And just give them a little background, because I don't think a lot of people know about it, because it's been several years since we've had it.
It shut down when COVID.
Yes.
When COVID hit, that was kind of the last year, and this is the first year back.
And then with peer pressure, they made me participate too the other day, and it was really fun. So
it is a blast.
So basically, they start with a Here we go. Okay, so basically it's a 20-meter straight track powered by CO2, and you have a little clicker. You have to release it and try to not get a red light like you would in racetracks. And so the students also they design a model, and then they create a 10-page portfolio that details the engineering design process. So not just here's my design, but what was the process? They do the manufacturing, they research, they have a business plan, they have to do some social media, get some sponsorship, so just all kinds of things that go into this. And then they also create a 10 by 3 by 8 pit display to house the project, and there's some really neat designs, and give multiple verbal presentations explaining the processes and design. And it's a global competition, so all around the world, and they come to, like here, I think it's, do you all sign off on that, where they're going? Charlotte, is that
Charlotte, North Carolina,
yes.
this time.
And then the top 2 from every country compete from 35 or more countries, so it's just absolutely wild. And then we have one team this year with 5 seniors, and this will be the first team to compete since 2019 because of COVID. And the F1 schools, they've been kind of, over the last 3 years, we've kind of missed out. But in 2013 is when it started. We had World Finals in Austin, 2014 World Finals in Abu Dhabi, 2015 World Finals in Singapore, and then Malaysia, Abu Dhabi again, and so it's just really all around the world. And they get to compete at the nationals, so not just regional but national, and then they start building the track in the USA so that it's building back up in the USA, because regional competitions wouldn't have built up a crowd, but now it's becoming a big thing again.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, thank
No
you.
problem.
I
was excited. I walked into the room one day, I was like, what's this? I was like, where'd this come from? And they told me, I was like, that is so cool, so I had to try it out.
Well, good. I'm glad you had the opportunity. And I just wanted people to know that it was just such a fantastic program before.
It is.
And Granbury High School has done amazing in the past, so I'm looking forward to bringing home some awards.
And I'm really impressed by their design, and they have, it's a real, I mean, just a whole package. Like, they're going to, like, they're CEOs of their little corporation, and so they're owning it, and I think they'll do well. They're really into it.
Thank you for presenting that for us. Okay, are there any other comments on the consent agenda items? All right, do I have a motion?
Madam President, I move that we approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Do we
And
have?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Lana. So we have a motion by Mr. Moore, a second by Ms. Lana. All those in favor, raise your hand. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. We will move on now to action and discussion. And the first one is, JB, you get to come on back up. Consider approving the new GHS GPA calculation.
I'm Jamie.
This is the Jamie Robinson Show.
Welcome, everybody. I don't know if the world can handle that yet. So one of the things when I first moved to Granbury, I'd heard and kind of dove into looking at what are all the operations, what all's in place, what all's not in place. And one thing that was brought up as a concern was our GPA system. So really, the current policy we had in place, it was outdated, it was confusing, it didn't match the A through F system, and it just wasn't really best for kids. It was very confusing. So in the picture, well, it's not, I guess, the way it lined up, but one of our, one of our students by last name Hutchinson's, right now he's one of the top around, and he's getting all these scholarships. And so he was kind of the highlight of what we look for when our students leave us. How do we know we get the top academic honors, and how do we get them to their next places? So go ahead and go to the next slide, Ryan. So basically what we did was, it was a very deep analysis, and we looked at least 10 different policies from all around the region, and we looked at similar districts compared to ours, and we looked at the pros, the cons, and then we started looking at different models if we were to switch, and how that would affect our accountability and how it would affect GPA. Our goal was to really get in line with what the state had, and how to get more students to go and take calculus and other advanced classes, because they were kind of peaking out, and it's like, oh, I'm finished, but not taking those next steps. So this helps reward those students for taking the next steps. Okay, go ahead. And so you can click on there and kind of see the framework, but those are in the next slides. But we took and we molded multiple policies after many discussions, and we had a very well-rounded group of parents, both in the current system, upcoming parents, staff that had been used to the other systems that had been in place. So we heard all the reasons we need to make these shifts. So what we did was we looked at kind of the current freshmen and seniors on the far left column, and so all those pieces we looked at. And then we looked at, if we were to make those changes, how would this be better? So on the right side, we put together a very deep, a good cross comparison, so we have an understanding of how it benefits our students. And it really made it a lot simpler. Instead of 6.0 scale and no tiers, now we've shifted the tiers, we've redefined, and we matched our current course catalogs to match this GPA policy, and really kind of where we look at the portrait of a graduate from now all the way and beyond. And this group of 8th graders that's coming in, they would be the first ones to go through this process, but then followed, and so we're very confident that we've really checked all the boxes of what we were looking for. Okay, so go ahead and go to the next one. So we broke it down into categories, into 4 tiers. So you have all of your eligible advanced AP and dual credit courses. So we weighted those, and we looked at, if you're really pushing hard to get those extra weighted points and to pursue higher education and things of that nature, we want it to be a fair analysis, a fair comparison, so you work and you get rewarded for it. Tier 3, we looked at eligible dual enrollment and some of the CTE practicums and the courses, so they'd be categorized by Tier 3 weight. So a little different than the old system that was on a 6-point scale. This is on a 5-point scale. Tier 2, eligible honors classes. They'll be weighted as Tier 2, and you'll see a little bit more about that. And then everything else, if someone transfers or other courses that are weighted as a 1, those are just a 0 weight to it. Okay, if you go to the next one, please. So one of the things that was happening was, if students moved in, they were kind of penalized for just moving in, no matter what they had. And so that was one of the biggest concerns that was brought up. So we took a look at it, and talking to the staff and some of the families that had been impacted, it was like they felt like it wasn't fair, and they would like to see something equitable when they moved in. So transfer grades for Tier 1 courses will be a Tier 1 weight. when a student transfers from an accredited school, basically we look at if they had the same, and only if they had the same course, then we could offer it and give them credit based on that. Okay, go ahead and go to the next one. So another part of this quest was to make sure we had the true top honors for valedictorian and salutatorian. And so when we ran different models, we wanted to make sure that even if it was close, even through the thousands, that we tried different scenarios and that would benefit. So we took prior graduate, different way people rated out, and we looked to see how that matched. And so we wanted to make sure that the first and the second highest ranking appropriately. And so we looked at they have to be continuously enrolled in the district for at least 2 school years immediately preceding graduation. So that way they came in and you still have long enough for it to be a fair comparison. And they had to have completed the foundation program with distinguished level achievement and be graduating after exactly 8 semesters of enrollment in the high school. Okay, on the next page, what we did was we took all the different tiers. We went to 4 tiers, and we calculated if you had a 5/10 or if you had 3300s, and we looked at the difference from the 2500 system before. So the higher tiers get more weight. So they're benefiting from pursuing those really high academic honors courses and beyond. So dual credit, advanced placement. So they're really getting rewarded in that hopefully that they'll pursue and push through those. Because before, sometimes they had to make a choice. Well, these are about weighted the same. So if I take this, then I don't have to take this. Instead of saying, hey, I really want to go far, I have the opportunity to take this. And so for the tier 1, we have the point scale for non-weighted work, and that's in that second column. And then for tier 4, we have our highest possible weighted GPA system on a 5-point scale to align with most districts across the state. Okay? And so from there, after running everything, meeting multiple times, getting input from the community, we feel like this is a very solid adjustment that's benefiting our students for the long haul.
Let me just speak briefly into our old system. So when I got here, and I had a son that was in high school transferring in, it put our transfer students at a disadvantage because we have, rather than having tiers where an individual class is graded individually, we're talking AACs and we're talking fidelities, and that's just a language no other school district speaks that I'm aware of, and probably that you weren't aware of either. I mean,
right. I looked at that. I was like, that's confusing.
And so you know, is it for an example, like kid coming in that maybe took honors chemistry or took dual credit biology, they would come in to Granbury ISD and they would come in from a system where that was weighted and they would get weighted credit for that class. However, when they came to Granbury, we wouldn't weight it until they hit 16 of what we call AACs, and those are courses that we, as a local school district, we designated them as honors classes. And so once they hit 16, we would weight everything. So not just the honors chemistry or the dual credit biology, we'd give them weighted credit for taking a regular ed PE class. Or taking basket weaving or whatever it may be. Just we blanket the whole GPA with the weighted credit. And so if you were to move in like your sophomore or junior year, it became very tough to get the AACs, and you may not even have the fidelities because the fidelities are 4 years in a row, and if you're your first school, you didn't realize I have to stay in this 4 consecutive years. You know, I was thinking that I may just do 2 years of fine arts or 2 years of athletics or 1 year of ROTC. Then it doesn't count at all. And so you've wasted that. And so this system, one of the huge advantages that puts everybody on a level playing field with other school districts in the area is that if you take most honors classes from school to school to school are standardized. So if you take honors English here, it's going to count as honors English in Waco Midway. If you take dual credit biology or dual credit math here, when you go up to Burleson, they're going to give you honors or weighted credit. Now, the weights may differ, but you're going to get weighted credit. And so specifically what this system does is it looks at each class individually, and it weights each class individually. So when you're taking the higher level classes, you're going to be weighted at a higher level, and it's not on a 6.0 scale. So whereas before we would have GPAs, like your GPA is a 5.923, no one knows what that means. This is still higher because it's on a 5.0 scale, so you could have a 4.95, but essentially it's 1 point over what a 4.0 would be, and everyone understands the 4.0 scale. I think that covers it. Are there any questions specifically related to this we can try and help answer?
One of the reasons we went to the last one was because you had children dropping out of fine arts and athletics. To explain how this isn't going to do that again.
Okay. Let's see. I have made some notes for y'all. So basically, so we do a no count, and that way as they're taking, so the no count won't penalize them. And that was part of the issue. You have to go all the way through, but they can't get 100 at a 4.0 because that would bring it down. So that was kind of counterproductive. So if I made 100 in band for my 4th year, it was actually, instead of something weighted, it was dropping, it was bringing it down.
Exactly what was happening. So in other words, so they take band, let's say that they're taking 8 hours of courses. So they would just, their GPA would be decided under 7 hours, and you take out the band hour? Is that what it does?
That's correct. It would be a no count.
Yeah, it just
That's what it means by no
defaults to
count?
no count. So they can still do it, but it won't penalize them, but it won't help or hurt them.
Got it.
So truly what we're looking for, and again, when we're talking about our valedictory and our salutatory and our top 10, our top 10%, which is what really matters when we're talking GPA, we're trying to get to the kid that is the top academic kid. And I think somewhere along the way, we kind of strayed off course and we started saying, like, let's use our GPA system as a way to get kids involved in CTE classes or get them to take more athletic classes. And truthfully, we're not looking for those things. What we're trying to measure is who's our top academic kid, because what we're saying when we acknowledge a valedictorian is we're saying this is the #1 academic graduate in this particular class. And here's #2, and all the way through our top 10%. And that's what this does. The most rigorous courses in our school, it's going to encourage kids to take those classes because they're going to get weighted credit for it. And so, whereas I know, speaking from personal experience again, I'll call out my own son, I know that he ducked Mr. Ochoa's calculus class because he was like, that sounds hard, and I don't want my GPA to go down. So I can go take, and I won't say what he took, but he was like, I can go take this class where I know it's going to be an easy 100, and it's going to weight the exact same. And that was what was kind of a shame about it, is that I knew that my son, and I got on him, I scolded him about it, but I said, you're gaming the system. And he said, I'm playing under the rules. But truthfully he did, but to be able to weight a class, a calculus class the same as like a general PE class was not really a great measure, and this is gonna fix that and make sure that we reward those kids that are taking the tough classes. Jamie, I know you worked really hard on this. Do you want to mention some of the teachers that helped you at the high school?
So we had Cindy Leatherman, Todd Gibson, Mr. Ochoa, Jana Reed. And so we had different parents that were also part of the committee, like I said, that have been or will be in the system. And so I really feel like it was a very well-rounded crew.
Well, I have another question. I was involved in the last one and the one before that, so I want to make sure I'm understanding it so that when parents come, I can explain it. I kept the course catalog that y'all gave us last month. So I was looking at that based on what you have in here. And I'm not seeing a lot of tiered classes. Is that something that's going to be added more?
We've kind of we've recoded, I guess to say, so that we have identified which ones are which tier.
Okay, so when the kiddos get this to start actually picking classes, there'll be more tier levels in here?
Yeah, and let me say something too. We're at a point where if you're a freshman through senior right now, you're still under the AAC plan, and so really the tiers only apply to the incoming 8th grade class. Because it's not fair to switch.
Right.
Change.
So that's all been, yeah, so that was one of the things too that we want people to understand what you're signing up for and how to, if you want to work the system or whatever it is, what you're getting into.
Yeah, and so, and probably, I'm thinking at the freshman level, it's going to be tier 2 classes or where they'll be at. They probably will not be taking tier 3 or 4 classes at the freshman level because they won't be on the advanced pathways yet, and they won't be able to be in the dual credit or AP.
Correct.
Maybe AP. I see Leatherman is correcting me. I'm wrong. APU. Okay, so that'd be a tier 4 class.
Okay, so the number of tiers I'm seeing in this one right now that we got last month is less than what we'll see when the kids are actually starting to sign up for it. Because I'm seeing very few tier classes in here.
Okay, I'll go back and I know we've been working on that, so I'll make sure you'll have the updated. So I'm making a note real quick to visit with our team about it.
Okay, I just want to make sure
Good
that
question.
I'm understanding.
Now, if you have a question, everybody else will have a question, so I want to make sure we're clear on it and what each one is, so I'll make sure that's on there.
Tier 4, and that's
It looks like a lot of the pathway classes are the ones that have to be addressed.
yeah. Okay, great.
We can update that.
Got it, no problem.
Excellent. Okay, well, that answers my questions. How about anybody else?
How are you going to inform parents of this change?
So when we have different CTE nights, like we have our upcoming 8th graders, different middle school nights, I'll be going there and presenting this, and I'll be able to share all information, where it's at, and answer questions individually. So kind of a traveling roadshow of the GPA. Okay. And all parents were emailed today, so, okay.
Anyone else have any other questions? Okay. This is action/discussion, so I need a motion.
Madam President, I move that we approve the new GHS GPA calculation for the incoming freshmen starting in the 2024-2025 school year.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Oh,
We did it together.
okay. All right, I have two. I have Ms. Lowry and Ms. Lana. Okay, so it is being moved by Ms. Gore, and I'm going to let Ms. Lowry have that one for a second. All those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you very much, Mr. Robinson.
Well, I want to thank everybody that was part of this, because it was a lot of work, but
yes,
very important work, and I can't wait to see how it benefits. I'm really excited. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Next up is Mr. Dawson to discuss the 2024-2025 academic school calendar. I can't believe we're there already.
We're there. We're there. Thank you, Madam President. Board, just real quick, the 2024-25 academic calendar has been developed by our Academic Calendar Committee, which was created from our strategic planning in partnership with our Professional Development Committee. The GISD staff was offered input into the 2 draft calendars through a district-wide survey. There were 602 survey respondents and 550, which is 91.4%, voted in favor of this recommended calendar, which includes the 3-week Christmas break. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And so it's the recommendation of the administration to approve the 24-25 academic calendar as presented.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions on this calendar? All right, I will entertain a motion.
Madam President, I move that we accept this draft 1 of the calendar for 2024-2025 school year.
Thank you, Ms. Alana. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. The motion was made by Ms. Alana, seconded by Mr. Moore. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And it is unanimous. Thank you very much. That ends our action and discussion items, and we now move on to reports. Mr. Dawson, you're up again with strategic planning update.
Thank you, Madam President and the board. In your board book, you received a copy of the monitoring guide that we created as a roadmap of all the action plans and strategies. So today I want to give just a brief update on our progress of our strategic plan. So we began this process almost 1 year ago with the following events and steps to develop the plan. We had surveys, community meetings, our GISD leadership planning session was a full day long. We had steering committee, action planning teams, and then we came together to put our actions to outcomes. So this is a 5-year plan, and it does support the vision that was created by our district teams, which is GISD inspires excellence and empowers all students to be future ready and positive contributors to their community. And we're working hard to live by that each and every day. There are 4 focus groups that were developed and 4 focus areas that were developed: human capital, student achievement, Granbury culture, and facilities. So out of those focus areas, we developed committees which are helping analyze and execute the strategic plan. So first of all, our human capital focus group. And those leaders, we have the district recruitment committee, we have the staff mentoring committee there at human capital with student achievement focus. Those leaders are listed. And then we have our highly effective instruction committee, our academic calendar committee on that focus area. Then we have our Granbury culture focus groups, which are 3 committees: Granbury culture, communications committee, capturing kids' hearts implementation team. So those are the 3 committees that were from the culture committee, or culture group. And then our facilities group and the long-range planning committees that have been formed there. So just a quick update, real quick on the student achievement update from the fall of 2023. All instructional specialists have completed training on the Benchmark Phonics Intervention Program. All new teachers to GISD were trained on phase 1 of the observation feedback protocol, with all those campuses having that continuous growth mindset to always be improving. We had our highly effective instruction committee developed with our leader, Stacy Brown, leading that charge. And then, of course, Mr. Robinson, as you just heard, did a great job his very first semester here in Granbury, creating that culture, GPA committee, and researched those formats and made the recommendation moving forward. Also, we have our professional development calendar that was created for this school year. We had our academic calendar committee meet in partnership with our professional development committee and really align those 24-25 goals. We're making a small shift, and in the years past, we've had summer trainings required for teachers. We're no longer going to have that. We're going to embed those required trainings within the school year. So they're not going to have those comp days, if you will. You did not see those on the calendar that you just approved. And so that's going to be just a little bit of a shift, but that was something that came out of the strategic plan. And of course, student intervention plans developed with ongoing monitoring. So this spring, for our student achievement focus, is going to be a list of district assessments that allows us to continually analyze our student progress. A list of instructional materials are going to be reviewed. Curriculum department has already started working on that with administrators and teachers. Of course, we're just in a continuous growth cycle of monitoring student progress as we prepare for the spring assessments and end of year things. We did something new this month that was from our strategic plan. All sophomores took the TSI exam, and we saw a real increase already in passing rates for math and or those ELA components there. So that was a bright spot for our CCMR accountability. And then we set our professional development, or we will set our professional development calendar for next school year. In the human capital update, our recruitment committee has been formed to attract highly qualified applicants. Our newly formed job fair is set for GISD in the spring coming up. Staff mentoring committee has been great, led by Maggie Walton, and established a newly formed mentoring plan created for all campuses to support new teachers, and which I think is really going to help in the retention of our good employees. And of course, we secured funding through the passing of the VATRE. Some spring steps, 10 job fairs, recruitment events. We're going to create a Why Granbury ISD campaign in collaboration with the communications committee, so I'm very excited to see what comes of that. Our human capital is going to create an onboarding committee to support all the new employees coming in, and then again host our first annual large-scale GISD employee job fair on April the 6th. So with Granbury Culture Update, our communications committee has been established with Ryan Cox leading that, with a couple of meetings already completed, gathering information on just the mascots, graphics, color themes, fonts, other branding things to unify campuses. That was a big discussion during the culture committee as well. All secondary staff's been trained in capturing kids' hearts with an implementation team that has been formed and is monitoring the implementation. And then the culture committee was created to research best practices to prevent bullying and with strategies to help grow awareness. Also, performed culture survey. Next step, we're going to perform a culture survey to evaluate the current perspective of the district from all stakeholders. We're planning all elementary staff and new staff members go through a Capturing Kids' Hearts training August 1st and 2nd here in GISD. We're going to implement those district-wide procedures for preventing and addressing bullying. We've already started that, and I really appreciate the culture committee that came together, put together some trainings for all staff right as we begin the year. That was implemented on all campuses, and so everybody had an update on that, and we're continuing to put that at the forefront and put that as something we want everybody to be aware of and how we treat one another, which Capturing Kids' Hearts is really helping lead that as well. And then something new, again, that was talked about, a big topic of discussion, was creating an AMS and GMS pirate committee just to evaluate the discrepancies and to develop some strategies to address those factors. So that is in the works for coming up. And then, of course, our facilities update, long-range planning committee was formed to analyze options and costs. As Dr. Glenn mentioned earlier, we fell by 2 votes, so close, so we've gone back to the drawing board. Our security team has researched state, federal, and local security mandates and completed those, or they're in the process of completion. So Chief Clark and Assistant Chief Mueller has done an excellent job with their entire team of getting us up to standards through all the mandates, and on top of it, just our own expectations of keeping our staff and our students safe throughout our district. Strategic planning for a bond, again, has been reestablished. So some of the spring steps coming up is just to continually monitor our facilities for repairs and needed upgrades. We want to market the community for just the need for those facility upgrades. As Dr. Glenn mentioned a while ago about the portables, we're going to continue just to market those needs and then explore ideas for grants and outside funding opportunities for the increased security measures for all campuses. So again, we appreciate your support. It's been a journey, and it's been a good year-long journey putting this together, but we have the roadmap, and we're excited for these next steps going forward. Thank you.
Any comments or questions that we have for Mr. Dawson? Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let me get back to my agenda. Okay, we're going to finish up the day with Mr. Whitefield.
Thank you, Madam President. Board, in front of you, you do have the financial statements for the month ending December 31st of 2023. This statement includes transactions that occurred between September 1, 2023 and December 31st of 2023. Revenue collected to date equals 18.59% of the budgeted amounts compared to last year's 33.71%. Expenditures to date represent 33.4% of the budget compared to last year's 39.58%. The notable thing that you want to see on that is that property taxes are, as of December 31st, a little lower than they were last year, but that has to do with the timing of the bills that went out because they waited for the election in November. And so we're starting to catch up with that in this month. Are there any questions about the financials?
Okay, just rock on.
Yes, ma'am. Board, in front of you also have the cash flow and investment report for December. You can see that in December we did get $103,804.57 in interest. That is pretty comparable to what we got last December, but as a total from 2022 we were at $307,000, and you can see as a total right now we're at $481,000. So interest rates are doing well for our investments, and that is your investment and cash flow report.
All right. Thank you, Emmett. So at this time, it is 7:14, and I adjourn the meeting of the Granbury Independent School District. School Board, thank you.
Thank you, Board.